All right, we are live with another episode of the Embracing Joy podcast. And I'm so excited for our guest today, Dr. Josya Charles. Is it Laurent or Laurent?
Yes, or Dr. Charles.
Dr. Charles. Okay. All
Actually,
right.
Dr. Josya outside of my main job. Yeah.
Perfect. Dr. Josya, thank you so much for joining us today. This is an episode that you do not want to miss. Or those of you that are watching the replay, this is an episode that you would want to share with your friends, your family, all the single people in your life, or people that may be struggling with dating and love. It can be complicated. And we're just so excited to have Dr. Josya with us today to talk about embracing joy in dating and love, especially for high achieving professional women who may have difficult. It can, of course, be difficult for everyone, but especially for women. Once you've reached a certain level of education or professional, you realize that it's not as easy as it may have been before. So I'm so excited to have our guest. I have an intro for you, so I'm going to introduce you as well. Dr. Josya Charles is a board certified. Dr. Josya Charles is a board certified family medicine physician. She attended Drexel Medical School in her hometown of Philadelphia. And after residency, she relocated to Miami, Florida, and she's served in different capacities. She's been an assistant professor at a medical school. She's also worked in the hospital, and she's also passionate about working for underserved and has worked in an underserved clinic as well. And now she is a dating and love coach, and she has a lot of experience with this, personal as well as helping clients. And she helps single professional women date with purpose so that they can meet their husband. And she's married and she has 2 sons. Would you like to add anything, Josya?
No, I think you covered it all. I mean, the only other cool fact is that I'm of Haitian descent. I like to tell people I was made in Haiti and born in the USA.
Oh, nice. Okay. And so you were born in the USA?
Yes.
But made in Haiti. Okay.
That's the story.
Yes. That's nice. Okay. So you must have your you were already in the belly when you came.
Yeah.
Well, of course, not the belly, but of course the uterus, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
At least
Yeah.
sounds cool, way cooler than saying in the uterus, right?
I know we don't, we don't say I was in the uterus. Yeah. Well, that's great. We have a lot, especially in Miami, we have a lot of Haitians. So represent Sac Passe to all of our Haitian listeners. And it's wonderful to have you with us. So we usually start with a warm-up game. It's a quick game just to get our brain active and just not overthinking, and just so we can get in a state of flow. It's called Convergence, and it's an improv game. So the game is, you just will say the first word that comes to your mind. I say the first word that comes to my mind. We say them at the same time on the count of 3, and then we're trying to see if we can read each other's mind. So the next word, it'll be something that connects the 2 words that we said on the first round. So on the next round, we'll say a word. So say I said apple and you said chair, something that connects chair and apple together, which would be, I don't know, teacher, right? Maybe you gave the teacher apple for her, whatever. It could be something that may possibly connect the 2 in some capacity. Ready?
Cool.
All right. So on the count of 3, just say the first word that comes to your mind. You ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. Love.
Magic.
What'd you say?
Magic.
Love and magic. Okay, that's good. So something that connects love and magic together.
Okay.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Soulmate.
Intention.
What'd you say? Tension?
Intention.
Intention. Okay, intention and soulmate. Something that connects those two together.
Okay.
Or like a broader scope or something. So soulmate
Hmm.
and intention. Okay. What? Three, two, one. Destiny.
Uh,
Oh, it's okay.
let's see.
The
Focus was
first word.
mine.
Focus. Okay, so focus and destiny. Okay, focus and destiny, and put those two together.
Oh, that's gonna be
Mm.
tough.
Let's see. I know it's getting tough. It's getting tough. Let's see. And you just the point is it's just a game, just to say
Okay.
whatever flows, whatever comes to mind. Okay. So all right. Three, two, one.
Heart.
Peace. I said peace and heart. Okay. Heart and peace. Okay. All right. Mm, all right, ready? Something that puts heart and peace together. Three, two, one.
Home.
Home. Okay. I'm having a brain.
Oh
Let's
no,
see.
come on, you already heard mine.
No, I heard yours. I know. So, I was thinking like self. For some reason, self is what comes up. So self and
Okay.
home.
Home
Okay.
and self.
Hmm.
Yeah. You can if
Okay.
you can feel like yourself at home and home's your
Yeah. Right.
yeah.
Your
Yeah.
truth. You can be at home in yourself. Okay. So home and self, something that puts those two together.
Okay.
All right. Three, two, one. Temple.
S- Serenity.
Okay, because I was thinking like your body is a temple, like serenity. Okay, serenity and temple. All right. So something that I think we're kind of deep in our, in our word
Yeah,
choices, which is
we went
good.
really deep.
But I think I think it's harder to get on the same page when we're deep. But let's see if we can make it more broad. So serenity and temple. Something that puts serenity and temple together. Could be
Mhm.
any word. Say ready.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Serenity and temple. Three, two, one. Church.
God. God. We're
God.
getting there.
Okay. God and church. There we go. I think that's close enough.
Yes.
I think
That's
that's close enough.
fun. Wow. I've never
Yeah.
played
So
that
it's a
before.
fun game, just to get our juices flowing, to see if we can get on the same page. And with that being said, we're going to head right into our questions for you.
Perfect.
So, Doctor, so you, as a high achieving professional yourself, I am sure you understand that there's a lot of challenges that come with balancing your career and your personal relationship. And have you noticed that there's some unique challenges or hurdles that single professional women face when it comes to the dating scene?
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Mhm.
I tell a lot of folks my own experience, my own stories. I'm not just, talking for abstractly, but I know it from being there firsthand. I think the unique thing for professional women is whether or not when you're dating, is a person interested in you or your title, right?
Hmm.
And it's very common in our society for it to be the other way around, that we're looking at guys, and their potential or their title, but it's different when it's flipped to us, because even though we have this progression of our careers, the society we live in is still pretty traditional in terms of the gender roles, if you will. So that's something to kind of keep in mind. And many women can attest to this. They go into a mixer, a professional thing, or a hybrid of it, because a lot of professional mixers are like dating things on the low, or dating opportunities. And you just wonder, is a person really into you because of you, you being Sally, or versus you have the doctor title behind your name, or your MBA, or you're an attorney, or you own your business.
Hmm. Yeah. So is it, do you think the title serves as like a hindrance to dating in terms of like, I know when I was dating and as a medical student, sometimes that was something I would hide because I didn't want to show that I was studying to be a doctor because I thought it may intimidate some of my choice, my options, right? Because you're like, oh, I don't want them to but it's also, I don't want them to pick me for the title, I want them to pick me for me, because there's a certain connotation that comes with being a doctor. Like, oh, okay, she's not someone that I can date, or is, I guess it can go positively and negatively, right? That title.
Absolutely. I think, dating in medical school is very different than dating once you already have your degree, right?
Right.
So there's definitely like you said, there's both ways to look at it. When you're still in the process, there's one part where I was super proud to be like, I have my degree, I'm a doctor, this is who I am. But again, but then that if you're leading with that, then people aren't really getting to know you. At the same time, you don't want to hide it. If it comes up in conversation, it comes up. But I don't think the first thing you say to someone in a social setting is necessarily what you do for a living, because that's not who you are. It's what you do. And especially in our field in medicine, we have been ingrained to tie our profession with our personal identity. It's not like I work as a doctor, I am a doctor. Right. And you don't necessarily hear that in some other industries. People well, you do actually. It's a lot of professional ones. I am an attorney, I am a dentist, I am a CEO. So a lot of high-end folks have been ingrained to put the two together, and we need to learn to tease them out. Why is that important? Not just in the dating scene as you're going to meet people and find out whether you're compatible, but also when you move forward into marriage. When you come home from work, back to the serenity we talked about earlier, or the temple, you don't necessarily want to bring work home with you. You want to just be you and unwind, right? So we need to practice that and embrace that even in dating, to separate those two. It doesn't make you less of a person. In fact, there's this whole notion of rest is resistance, and moving away from the go of business and capitalism, and always striving for funds and money. And there's nothing wrong with that. It has its time and place, is what I'm getting at. Same way with leading with our titles in dating.
Yeah, I like that you said that, because, a lot of us in all different professional fields can tie our self-worth to that title, but you're much more than that title. And then when you're dating, right, it's good to take the title off so that you show up not in your professional sense, but as your full self. And I love that you say that, and when you connect with these women. So other than not introducing yourself with your title, how can you kind of overcome some of that hurdle, like of tying yourself to the professionalism or in that dating scene, or, how do some women overcome that hurdle?
I think it starts with, getting to know yourself. And getting to really dig into that, not what people told you who they think you are and you've internalized over the years, but really getting to know yourself. This work I do is what I call mirror work, and it's not something unique to me. It's been done for years and many different levels of therapy and coaching, where you get to really look at yourself in the actual mirror, not your phone on selfie mode, but to really talk to yourself and like, who is Josya? Who is Magda? Right? And you'd be surprised what comes back to you, and that inner voice, that inner knowing, not what you've heard from your parents for 30, 40 plus years, not what you heard from your colleagues in work, not even what you heard from people you've dated up along the way. They do have their roles, but I think to really get into that place, we need to kind of know who we are, because as we get to know ourselves and love ourselves on levels, then that helps us in how we then approach other people, because many times we project what we see of ourselves onto other people.
Yeah, and that I think that's key, and that's something that is a lot of us wouldn't know to do, right? So a lot of us wouldn't know to like, you've accomplished so much. A lot of the women listening, a lot of the men listening have accomplished so much, and they're just looking for a partner. But it also takes that understanding of self, right? And that deeper understanding of self. So how do you work with women to kind of help them see themselves more before they start their dating journey? Is that part of the coaching? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think before we even get, like, one of the first things I do in my dating process is we really work on getting to know ourselves. We do what I call the 360 approach, borrowing it from the corporate world, the 360 evaluation. But we kind of do that where we get to, ourselves who we think we are. We do get feedback from those around us as well. I mean, their feedback is not the end all be all, but it gives us some nice idea of where we're starting from. And the reality is, no one has taught us how to date, right? There's no, you don't in school go to, oh, okay, at 11 o'clock, third period is my dating class, and then I have, social studies after that. We didn't have that, right? What we know from dating is what we've seen on TV. And remember, or I should make people aware, television and social media, well, now social media, but for most of us of our generation with television, the main job of television is to sell products, not necessarily to educate, maybe to entertain, but the idea is to sell products during those commercial breaks. That's why it's called programming, right? So we get these, romanticized ideas of romance, which aren't real, from movies, from television, and we bring those into our interactions, and then we get disappointed because the interactions don't meet up to what we saw on TV. Forgetting that on TV, everything is cut. This is take 36. We're going to erase this part of the script. We're going to add this in. And then we forget we are real life people and we're interacting with real life people. We have our shortcomings. They have their shortcomings. So I would say, to sum it up, we need to learn grace. And as women are learning that for themselves, then that's what they bring into their dating experiences and have much more fulfilling dating experiences.
You're so right. Like, and a lot of us, especially, I don't know, for speaking of my own experience, a lot of us were not allowed to date, right? And for a long time, right? It's like, oh, you're not allowed to date. And then once you get past school, it's like, oh, how come you're not married? Like, wait, I wasn't allowed to date from this age to this age. Like, how is that? So that's part of the learning too, is like, when you are able to date in a supervised environment, you're able to learn in a way, maybe, but a lot of us did not have a supervised environment to practice or to learn to date. It was just, focus on school, not allowed to date, or focus on school, focus on this, or focus on your profession. And once you get that, now, date, but there's no guidance, right? So like you said, a lot of us are missing that guidance step.
It's on so many levels, right? I mean, in Creole, in Haitian Creole, the saying "l'école, la caille, l'église." You only taught three things. So l'école meaning school, la caille meaning home, and l'église meaning church. And those are the only three places you should be. And that was exactly my upbringing. It was like, focus on school, no boys, get your degree, don't come home pregnant. And the next thing you know, why don't you have someone? Where are my grandkids? You're like, wait a minute, and then you have another element too. Many of us are first generation in our careers. So our parents who, found love at 24, 19, 21, 30, didn't necessarily, well, one, they found at a younger age. Two, they, for the most part, because we're the ones breaking the barriers, they probably don't have those professional careers to balance. Wait, I'm spending all these years in school and then trying to add love on top of that. So they're coming from a very different perspective and a very different world than what we're coming from. And so that adds another part of it too. And I think, when we go into dating, we need to kind of turn down those voices from our parents and growing. So we take the pressure off ourselves. Like, I gotta date, I gotta find someone, I gotta make mom happy, I gotta make dad happy. No. Because at the end of the day, you're not marrying them and bringing them home. And so I think that's part of the unlearning that has to take place.
Right. You have to do what's best for yourself. And that's why the understanding of self, like you said, is the most important part of that process. Right. So, I really like that I mean, you understand, like, when you're first generation in a certain profession, it is different. So, yeah. You talk about dating with purpose as well. I would like you to talk a little bit more about that. What does dating with purpose mean? And how does, like, mindset help with dating with purpose?
It kind of alludes to I'm taking into what I said earlier about television and media and what we've been, ingrained for decades in our minds, right? Where guy meets girl, they fall in love, they get married, and we have this kind of programming. And sometimes we do go into dating situations without purpose. We go and go, let's just see what happens. And yes, there has to be an element of allowing things to unfold naturally, but also if you go in without a clear intention, you're going to get what you put into it. There was a good while when I was dating and I was using dating apps. And actually, part of my program, I really get into the strategies and the secrets on how to really navigate them. But there was a point where I was attracting guys who only wanted one-night stands, flings. You find out they're married, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I had to dig deeper within myself, realize I wasn't going in with the intention of looking for a partner that would lead to marriage. I was like, and I had to be truly, truly honest. Even though I said I wanted that, all my actions were contradictory to that. It's like saying you want to lose weight, but yet every day you're having that little piece of cake. Oh, it's so big. And your actions are not, and that's where the mindset goes in, right? To be honest with ourselves, not beating ourselves because we're having that cake or bleeding, or, for me, I was giving off energy that wasn't towards a committed relationship, more towards casual, just acknowledging it for what it is, and then changing the mindset, changing the behaviors so that you do get the results you're looking for. So I was, I at one point then deleted all my apps. And then after I've done that soul searching, that dig deep inner work that I now do with a lot of women, when I was ready to get on the apps, within 2 weeks, I met my now husband. I don't tell people they're going to meet their spouse within 2 weeks, but I feel like the intentionality allowed the foundation work and for that speed to meet the person that I've been with now for almost, we just celebrated our 7th year of marriage, and in a few weeks we'll celebrate 10 years together.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So just putting out that intention and knowing that intention is, very important. And I like that you learned that and are able to help women with that. So you are very, very unique, Dr. Charles, because you're a physician and a dating coach as well. So, I'm sure that there's not many physicians who are also dating coach, of course. And you have such a unique perspective because you have a career in medicine. Are there any like lessons or principles like from your medical career, like having a certain approach that you find especially valuable when you coach women to be successful in their relationships?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I would say some of the experiences from being a physician, like, things like motivational interviewing, some actual skills to help, because coaching, you don't give the person the answers, right?
Right.
You just kind of guide them and pull out of them the greatness that's within.
Right.
I always example, LeBron is a great player, and he has a talent in and of himself, and a coach is just kind of refining what's already there. I think it's the same in medicine. When I approach the coaching scene similar to how I approach my patients in the healthcare setting, bringing greatness out from within, giving them permission to let their hair down, giving them permission to really speak things out loud, to explore. I mean, in a sense, it's a default of mine at work that I tend to run behind because I take that time. And I think that's the beauty of family medicine, that the training I have was to take time with patients, allow them to talk, allow them to explore, and many times they would come up with their own answers, and I'm supporting them. So the same thing applies in the dating scene. So as I'm working with women and talking through things with them, whether it's a specific dating scenario that they went through, or they're working through some of the exercises I give them, it's allowing them to kind of come up with the answers themselves and just give them a space and place to do that. Because it's not something that's really fostered. Many times we just tell people, get out there, go date, and without giving them time to really prepare for that, or even to come back and to review it in a non-biased way.
Yeah, that coaching and that motivational um, interviewing, as far as like in the medical side, is so important. And you're right, like in family medicine, you're able to help. Like, I love that you say, see the greatness that's already within them, so that they're motivated and they're not coming from a place like, oh, I'm doing everything wrong, why do I do the, even in dating, like you can feel like, goodness, every time I feel like some people may feel like every time they try, it's just they're doing something wrong and it's not working for them. And they may feel like they don't have what it takes to find someone. And but when you are encouraging and you provide guidance, and then they can come up with the steps to get out of that place and to date with intention, I think is key. And it comes from themselves and their own empowerment, not feeling like, oh, when you tell them something like, oh, I didn't do that right, and I didn't do this right, oh, you're right, I should have done this. And because it doesn't, a lot of times when we tell patients, like, you can just say stop smoking, right? Or smoking is bad for you. It's not enough to get people to quit, right? Right. You have to empower them to see, like, oh, what about this smoking is benefiting you? What is not benefiting you? Why would you want to quit? And how can I support you if when you're ready to quit, or when you're ready? So all of those things are very important. And I like that you're able to provide such a safe environment for people who are um, professionals that want to find love and enter that dating scene with intention and purpose. So, with that being said, we're on our wrap up questions. This has been a great interview, and it's been, dating and love is a part of joy and finding that peace and have a life that's completely fulfilled. And so, with that being said, who is a model for joy in your life?
Most people won't believe me when I say this, but it's actually an uncle of mine passed away.
Mhm.
His name was Gene Eddy. His nickname was Toe. He was born deaf.
Mm.
And I remember saying this years ago at his funeral, because he since passed away. He didn't work. He didn't get married. He didn't have kids. But this man had joy every day.
Mhm.
And even when we did communicate, it wasn't American Sign Language or anything standard by any means, because it was like a mishmash of Creole, Haitian Creole, and just gestures, and we just kind of had our own language, not just
Mhm.
with me as his niece, but also with my mother, who was his younger sister, and the rest of the family. But my uncle, he always smiled, and even though, like I said, he was born deaf, he would always be singing to himself and dancing, and I'm like, where is he finding this inner music? Like, you
Mhm.
think, and there were times I thought he was, and I'm like, he's totally like pulling my leg. But he was the epitome of for joy. He passed away when I was in medical school,
Mhm.
due to many health complications. But it was in that moment I was like, in this process of becoming a physician, I believe I was in the end of my third year. I'm in this process of becoming a physician and a career. But again, those things don't define you. You can have all those, you can never have those things, or even lose them and still be a happy and joyful person. So he's the person who I think about when I joy.
Mhm. That's right. And I like that that's a great example, because it's something that can be just a gift, right? Just a gift from our higher power, our creator, that you just have. And it's not tied to what you do or who you are, how much money you have. And that's a great reminder in your uncle, or your abilities, right? He was not able to hear, but he had his own music, right? Had you have music for someone that may not be able to hear the same way that we do. So if you were cooking a cake of joy, what would be your top 3 ingredients and why?
If I was cooking a cake of joy, three things. I would say the first thing would be to let the past go, to be able to forgive. That forgiveness is a superpower, and I know some people will hear this and they'll automatically clench and tighten up, and that just shows
Mhm.
they're not able to let go. But that's
Not
the
yet.
first not yet. And that's sort of a move towards joy. I think being able to forgive, letting the past go, being in the moment.
Mhm.
There, kids are experts in this. They are in that moment, and they're just pure joy. And then I think the third thing is to choose joy. We can choose it. We can be in a funk about something and literally the next second instantly feel better. We can still, whatever that situation, but joy is a choice, and I think when people realize that, that gives them a power that they didn't realize they had before. So yeah, forgiving, being in the moment, and just choosing joy are the three things I would add to my joy cake.
I love those. I absolutely love those. This has been a great, great conversation. So, for
Yes.
all of our listeners and people on the replay that are listening again, please share this video with a friend, with your colleagues. And if you are looking for a dating coach and something resonated with you, which I'm sure it did, please reach out to Dr. Josya. You can find her at drjosya.com. She's on Instagram at Dr. Josya, Josya, and she's also on Facebook, Dr. Josya on Facebook as well. Um, with that being said, I'll let you, if you want to say any closing statement, Dr. Josya, as well.
Yeah, I want to say I really enjoyed this time together just to kind of sit and talk about joy, especially in this world where there's not joy at times. And we're actually in the season of joy at this time of year. So this has just been a wonderful moment. And if anyone decides, hey, I think I want to at least explore the possibility of dating coaching and whether it would work for me, just hit me up on any of those candles you mentioned, and let's have a conversation. Let's get on the phone and talk.
All right. Thank you so much again, Dr. Josya. This has been a great episode, and please like, share, and you're right. This is the season of joy. We're in December, and so try to choose joy. Right? It's an option. You can choose it, and please like, share, and watch the replay if you can. Take care, and tune in for the next episode of the Embracing Joy podcast. Bye.
Bye.